I'm breathing underwater, I'm weightless through space. I'm soaring like an eagle all over this place. Creatures most will never see are waiting there to look at me, and all I gotta do is breathe underwater. As far as I can remember, I haven't had to do this before, but I get to begin today with a small product review. This is episode 13, called The Monster from Outer Space. But my DVD set has the final episode of the season in this spot. In all, 3 full episodes are missing. I don't know how it happened or how it got released in that condition, but if you're looking to buy the series, please be aware of that. Today's episode comes to us from YouTube, compliments of one Ronaldo Delfinos. My DVD set is kind of old, so I don't know if a subsequent release fixed the problem or not. For our purposes right now, it doesn't matter. But before you drop any cash, ask some questions. Having said that, the year is 1978, and exciting things are happening in the world of space exploration. We have a probe returning from Saturn. It looks like your basic 60s space capsule, so we can use stock footage to show its splashdown. I thought I'd toss that out there before someone asks why an unmanned probe needs windows. Exciting things really were happening in the world of space exploration in 1978, but that was because Voyagers 1 and 2 had finally been launched toward Jupiter and Saturn, and would eventually return incredible pictures of both. Voyager 1 took 3.5 years to reach Saturn, and Voyager 2 took 4 years. So if this probe got there, gathered a bunch of data, and has made it all the way back by 1978, it had to have been launched around 1969. This episode appeared in 1965, so nobody could know that that would be the year that we actually set foot on the moon. Most people weren't even thinking about Mars, never mind Saturn. But as always, we have to remember that this is the far distant future from the viewer's perspective, so anything can happen, including this.
There does seem to be some sort of shapeless object forming on the blunt end.
Can you identify it?
No, there's definitely something clinging to the returning spacecraft. And it's getting bigger.
Keep checking.
I got it. It's definitely moving on the outer skin of the vehicle. And it looks like it could be alive.
Stuff that crawls usually is. What does it want?
We've got to kill it. We can't risk allowing a hostile life form to reach the Earth. Could be dangerous to all of us.
You know it's hostile. How? So far it's your basic hitchhiker. Maybe it's just catching a ride to Venus. No, it has to be hostile because reasons. He'll alter the probe's re-entry trajectory so it's more or less straight down. That should generate enough heat to kill this thing. Again, he knows this. How? The altered course means the Seaview is the nearest recovery craft.
We may lose the instrumentation capsule, but we must kill whatever that is clinging to it.
If he's willing to sacrifice the data and he wants to burn it off, send the probe into the sun. Nope, it'll come down and we'll watch some of that thing burn up and fall off. Emphasis on some.
We have a malfunction in the automatic flotation collar. The capsule is sinking. Seaview, take emergency action to recover the capsule.
Or you might ask that thing to pull it up. I have a feeling it could. Recovering the probe means sending divers out.
Depth to bottom, Mr. Morton.
820 feet, sir.
Very well. Take it down and hold 300 feet over the capsule.
He and 2 other divers are going out at 800 feet to recover this thing. The deepest scuba dive ever recorded was 1,090 feet, and the man who did it trained for 4 years for that one dive. At least 4 divers have gone to 800 feet or so and not made it back. And that's going down gradually so your body has a chance to adjust to the pressure. These divers go into an airlock and go from 1 atmosphere of pressure to 24 atmospheres in less than a minute. I doubt that's healthy.
Seaview, this is Crane. Do you read me?
Loud and clear, Captain.
We've got the capsule in sight.
Is it clean?
Negative. It's covered with a huge growth of some kind.
Is the growth moving? Does it seem to be alive?
He called it a growth. Things that grow are usually alive. One of the divers wants to be sure. I'm sure somebody in some government agency somewhere on Earth has protocols in place for making first contact with an alien species. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that poking it with a spear isn't one of those protocols. It didn't like being stabbed. Who could have predicted that? They'll get that man loose, but it'll take some effort, not to mention runtime.
It's alive, all right, Admiral. It almost got one of my men.
Lee, be careful. Don't get too close again. We can't bring the capsule aboard until that creature's dead.
How do we kill it? We fired a spear into it and it hardly reacted.
Space Center thinks it can be burned off. I'm sending down some torches. See if they have any effect.
Space Center was wrong because it's still there. That re-entry generated heat of at least 1,500 degrees Celsius or 2,700 Fahrenheit, and it didn't do the job. How hot do your underwater torches get? I'm going to guess not 2,700 degrees. I can't help it. I'm an American and a boomer. Fahrenheit is all I've ever known. I'm working on getting a handle on this metric stuff, but I have a feeling I'm only going to last until age 150 or so I may not live long enough. The torches are enough to drive it back so they can attach the cable and begin the recovery. Crane is convinced they killed it. Why, I don't know, but he can't find a trace of it. Admiral Nelson isn't so sure.
Capsule coming in slow and steady, sir.
Very well, I want all our decontamination gear made ready. The minute that capsule hits the deck, I want it covered in acid foam.
Aye, aye, sir.
Mr. Morton, send a detail of electricians to the missile room. I want them to rig all the ultraviolet light they can give me.
Aye, sir.
Once those measures are taken, they enter the capsule and get the instrument package.
It looks okay, Admiral. I don't think the water hurt it any.
Get a detail and police up this place.
Aye, aye, sir.
Lee, as soon as you can, get any gear you may need out of here and seal off the room.
We'll put the capsule into quarantine, sir.
Maybe I'm being overcautious, but there's too much at stake to take any chances. Now, get the package up forward and prepare to launch the flying sub.
Aye, aye, sir.
Some Space Center folks are standing by to receive the package aboard the aircraft carrier Huron. While the flying sub heads that way, a crew is cleaning up the last of the acid foam in the missile room.
Kowalski, I want to secure this room as tightly as we can.
Aye, aye, sir. Get right up. Okay, men. Out.
Looks like it was a waste of good acid foam. I don't know what else acid foam is good for, but they must have it around for a reason. The Admiral's mistake was assuming that what works on Earth organisms will work on un-Earth organisms. It didn't. There are a few tense moments as the flying sub has to land on the carrier in a thick fog, but they have a cool new gadget that lets them see through the fog.
We've never used a new fog cutter. It better work.
It did in the lab.
So did the Norden bomb sight in World War II. In actual combat, it wasn't the revolutionary invention it was supposed to be. But the fog camera works, so landing is no big deal. Examination of the instrument package has turned up something unexpected.
It's some form of life, all right. But it's like nothing I ever saw before.
Neither have I. You think it's a nitrogen cycle organism?
No, I don't think so. The fact that it's alive means it's perfectly adjustable to our atmosphere.
He's forgetting one other thing. It also adjusted to no atmosphere. It handled the cold of empty space and the heat of entry into our atmosphere. Nothing seems to faze this stuff.
It's doubled or tripled in size. So it has the power of self-regeneration. Incredible. It seems to have the power to grow and shrink at will.
That explains why the capsule looked clean when Captain Crane was examining it. This thing can shrink down to almost nothing so it's not detected, then grow into whatever that was.
There's also some evidence of a central nervous system guiding it.
We'll keep it under constant observation.
I'll make arrangements to have the capsule brought aboard.
He's not thinking about the implications of what he just said. In fact, there are a lot of things he's missing. Such as the likelihood that there are still more of those things on the capsule, or in it, because if he thinks he got all of them there, somebody may have slipped something into his cigarettes. No, you can't kill off Riley. He's one of my favorite characters. But it's not going to kill him. It's going to do something much worse. He now has 2 large red marks on his neck, and he seems to be taking telepathic orders from somewhere. It's invasion of the body snatchers time. That thing has complete control of Riley's mind. He immediately lures Kowalski and 2 other guys back there, and now it has 4 members.
Feel okay now, Kowalski?
Yeah. I guess so. You?
Yeah. What happens now?
I gotta get Mr. Morton.
He's got to go through it too?
Everybody on this ship, those are the orders. He's next. I'll see to it.
It not only has control of their minds, they're all linked to each other through that central nervous system Admiral Nelson mentioned. While they're systematically taking over the ship, Admiral Nelson is calling from the Huron.
Get underway on the rendezvous course with the carrier. We found some life on the instrument package. There may be still some in the capsule, so keep it quarantined.
Remember, he said that.
Now, just a minute. The carrier's making 27 knots on course 270. Plot an intercepting course immediately.
Will do.
I'm not sure that suits our new master's plans.
Riley, signal the engine room. We'll be getting underway as soon as possible. Prepare to get underway. Surface running. Course 14. Riley, get to your station.
I better wait for Mr. Morton, Captain.
Riley, when I give an order, I expect to be obeyed. Now, get to your station.
No disrespect, sir. I'll just wait to take my orders from the exec.
Morton comes in, and to make it look good, he has Riley go visit the doctor. If you assume the doctor has already been converted, you're correct. There's nothing for it. They have to get the captain, too. Something about the way the doctor gave him the report about Riley prompted him to pull his Colt out of the desk drawer. It didn't help but give him points for being suspicious. He's not suspicious anymore. He's part of the hive.
How is Captain Crane, Doctor?
He struggled so violently, he almost died. He's one of us now.
Are you sure?
See for yourself.
Crane immediately orders a course change to head for Santa Barbara. It's not hard to suss out this thing's plan. Inside that suit is Daryl Scott McFadden. I found nothing at all about him, but believe it or not, we've seen him on the channel before, 3 times no less. He only has 4 credits on IMDb, but we've already seen half of them. He was in 2 episodes of season 1 right here, and he was a stunt double in an episode of Wonder Woman. One of the nice things about this job is you never know what you're going to stumble across. As I said, I couldn't find any info about him, but I know one thing: I do not envy him having to be in that suit. And I really want to know how he squunched himself up that small. The monster effects of growing and shrinking are surprisingly good. If you can accept an alien life form that can do that, the effects are believable.
What about Nelson and Sharkey?
I'm hoping they stay aboard the carrier.
If they should return, you know what we have to do.
I know, Mr. Morton, I know.
They aren't staying on the carrier. In fact, Nelson calls to say they're about 5 minutes out, be ready to collect the flying sub.
You know something, sir? I've been thinking about that stuff that was found in the capsule.
Yeah, so that, Chief.
Is it really alive?
Oh, definitely. It's some form of life that I've never seen before.
Yeah, you could say that again.
Yeah, this power to expand and contract, now that worries me.
The fact that it can survive space, fire, acid, and anything else you've thrown at it doesn't worry you?
So does its ability to split into various different segments. Yet each segment seems to be under some central control.
Yeah, that's bad, all right.
Sharky looks like he's about to lose his lunch. Not that you can blame him.
It may give us trouble before we're through.
Well, sir, I wouldn't worry about that. That carrier guys know how to handle that stuff. At least it's not on the Seaview, right?
Well, we can be grateful for that.
You said it's not what?
We found some life on the instrument package. There may be still some in the capsule, so keep it quarantined.
Rewind this and show me where that changed. That seems like a major goof to me because Admiral Nelson is both smarter and more cautious than this.
Captain,
Yes?
should we take him as soon as he comes aboard?
No. It'll be easier if we do it so that he never knows what happened.
Easier for whom, him or us?
For everyone.
We can't gain anything by putting it off.
I'm still captain of this boat, Mr. Morton. We'll do it my way.
That's the problem with this hive mind. Everybody starts to think they're equal and has an idea how things should be run. But the creature didn't prompt Morton to argue anymore, so I guess for now we're all accepting the captain's authority.
You've been keeping watch on the capsule, have you?
Yes, Admiral.
No further signs of life?
No, nothing, sir.
Good. As soon as we rendezvous with the carrier, we'll put the capsule aboard. How many knots are you making?
12 knots.
12. But the carrier's making 27 knots. Now, you'll never intercept at that speed.
I'm sorry, Admiral. I didn't know it was vital to intercept.
But I told you that yesterday on the radio phone. Now, bring her up the flank.
We can't.
He says there's a problem with one of the engines. Maybe you should look at the panel in the missile room. Nelson and Sharkey can't find anything wrong.
Watch out. The devil is everybody.
What is that?
Has to be that creature Lee saw on the capsule. The only way out now is through this hatch. We don't have time to get it open.
They do if Nelson can grab that last torch sitting there and keep it back with the flames long enough for them to escape.
Why didn't you answer the alarm?
What alarm, Admiral?
You didn't hear it?
No, sir.
Sharkey.
Hi, sir.
Come with me.
Once they're all armed, they storm the missile room and find nothing.
Sharkey, take some men and start searching forward. Comb every inch of the boat, but find it.
Aye, aye, sir. Come on.
Well, come on.
What are you waiting for? Get going.
Has either of those guys noticed how droney they're acting?
I don't get it. We've searched every inch of the submarine. And somehow it's eluded us.
Admiral, please don't misunderstand this, but are you sure you actually saw it?
Well, of course I'm sure I saw it. So did Sharky. We could have even touched it.
Then I'm as stumped as you are.
There's one thing I am sure of.
What's that?
We've got to be certain it stays aboard this submarine. We can't let it get ashore.
No, they haven't noticed how droney the crew is acting.
How long before rendezvous? I ask you a question, sailor. We're moving away from the carrier, headed back to Santa Barbara. Now, what's the meaning of this?
Captain Crane wanted to do it the easy way, but that's not going to happen. So they'll do what's necessary.
You and Sharky. You're the only ones who aren't part of that.
Nelson finally figured it out after Crane explained it to him in plain language.
Don't fight us, Admiral. Please. We're all one. Eventually, everyone in the whole world will be part of one great organism.
You mean everyone will be slaves to that?
Yes.
I, for one, will pass, thank you. That looks too much like someone I once dated. Talks about us coherently, too.
Back! Get back! Don't fight us. It's no use.
I'll shoot.
Admiral, surrender. I can't. Even if I wanted to, I can't. Don't you understand? I'm not in command. It is.
I find it interesting that Captain Crane's bond with his friend is still holding, while everybody else is basically a Borg drone. He knows he has to get Nelson to the thing, but he really wants to do it without harming him. That seems to be a piece of his will that the monster can't overwhelm.
Find him and kill him.
It won't be enough to stop him from issuing that order, though. Admiral Nelson would rather not shoot any of his men if he can help it, but he needs to get these guys off their backs. That works. Nelson and Sharky lock themselves in a lab, but they know it won't be long before either the monster or his minions find a way in.
Open the air vents. Aye, aye. They're in here, Captain.
That holds them back long enough for both men to scramble into the vent.
This is what you might call a stalemate. We can't get to them, they can't get to us.
You're mistaken, Chief. There's a guy crawling through that same vent, and he's coming your way.
They're coming through the air vents.
We'll take care of that.
Or not. Now may we please think in peace?
Chief, get me a reel of copper wire.
He's electrifying a wetsuit. The rubber suit will insulate him from the juice.
Rig the storage batteries in series, connect them to the condenser, and bring me the lead line. Aye, sir.
With the batteries they have and some additional equipment, they'll hit this thing with about 20,000 volts. Let's hope it's enough. Monster and company have figured out where they are. You could have just knocked on the door. He's ready to cooperate.
Now, Starkey.
That's it. It and everybody else just falls down. I was expecting a little more drama, but I know why there wasn't. I'll explain in a moment.
You busy, Admiral?
No, lady. How do you feel?
Like I was hit on the head with a sledgehammer.
He looks like it, too. The bathrobe really helps to sell the idea.
Boy, might just as well have been. All of you took a good part of the 20,000 volts I fed that organism.
That's another disadvantage to the hive mind. When one person gets kicked in the knee, everybody falls over.
What was it?
I don't know. It was some kind of extraterrestrial life with a chemistry different than ours.
Well, how did it get to us the way it did?
It must have implanted some kind of electrical impulses into your brain.
Into your neck, more precisely, but whatever it was obviously connected to some crucial nerves. And it affected different men differently. Riley became a ventriloquist dummy, Morton became a hard nose with ideas of taking over, and Crane became a duality with the bad side overpowering the good side. And that's why we didn't have more monster drama, because this wasn't about the monster. It was about the monster's effect on the crew. The comments are loaded with complaints about how the show started going off the rails with all the aliens and monsters and such. But if you watch the most out there like Pluto episode closely, you'll notice that we are always studying the men of the Seaview and the people they come in contact with. The monsters are a vehicle to get us into a situation where we can do that. Many of you have said you couldn't stand the plots, but you kept watching. I just told you why. You like these guys. You've gotten to know them. You care about them and what happens to them, which means you naturally want to see what happens to them. None of us tuned in for the plots. We tuned in to see what our friends were facing this week. If you watch this episode all the way through, you might now notice that the monster got minimal screen time. That's because he was nothing but a plot device to expose our pals to something that will stretch their abilities and resources, but we know that within the last 5 minutes they will win. We didn't watch to see if they would win, we watched to see how they would win. Sometimes the how would get a little out there too, but we were still proud of our men for coming up with it. Admiral Nilsson kept the electric wetsuit, and the next time he was in Washington and a politician tried to hug him, it got a lot of attention. I'm breathing underwater, I'm weightless through space. I'm soaring like an eagle all over this place. Creatures most will never see are waiting there to look at me, and all I gotta do is breathe underwater. Probe needs... Why a reviewer needs air. The acid foam in the middle. Droney these... That seems to be a piece. That's another disadvantage. Howdy.